maybe the most hotly contested group thus far in the Jägermeister Cup resides out west. It's Group 1. It's the Oakland Roots welcoming Monterey Bay FC to the Oakland Coliseum. Happy to have you with us this evening on ESPN+. Warm-ups are brought to you by UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. Alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. Ricky, this game is a must-win for both of these teams, but for very different reasons as we take a look at the Group 1 standings.
How tight this is here in Group 1 for a must-win for the Oakland Roots just to stay alive in this Jägermeister Cup. And for Monterey Bay, you need to win this game to continue to stay pace with Sacramento Republic. This game is going to be won and lost in that midfield battle, and which team can get in a rhythm will be probably the team that takes all the points.
Well, these teams have already met in 2025. It was in the regular season back in March. Chaotic, to say the least, on that night. There were 5 goals. It turned out to be a 3-2 win for Monterey Bay. There was a fight at the end of that game. It had a little bit of everything.
There's no hiding that Monterey Bay and the Oakland Roots do not like each other. There is a little bit of a rivalry factor and a little bit of motivation. It's a really good goal here for Monterey Bay, the overlapping run from Grant Robinson, but yet there was a coaching change for the Oakland Roots, so it's a different approach to this side for Benny Feilhaber, and it took Monterey Bay 3-2 to take all the points in Seaside, California. Can they respond here on the road in the Coliseum?
And this is where things got heated at the end of that game. A ball was probably unnecessarily kicked off of Armanakis from behind. That spilled over. It spilled over in the past between these teams, but the past is the past, and the present is the present. And in the present, Peter Wilson needs to step up for the Roots. Could see him later on off the bench.
Peter Wilson, it can be a handful to defend because he's big, he's physical, but he also has the legs to run in behind and really stretch the game. Now for the Oakland Roots, you need to see a different type of ruthlessness from Peter Wilson. So when he does come onto this field, big opportunity to make his impact felt.
On the other side, Adam Larson gets to start up top for Monterey Bay, a player who's still finding his way in his first professional season in the United States, but he's starting to find his name on the score sheet a bit more often.
Adam Larson is continuing to show why they brought him in for Monterey Bay, the ability to beat players 1v1. He's tenacious, he wants to get on the end of service, and he's a box number 9. So look for service in some Adam Larson to find success for Monterey Bay going forward.
Now, between goals, extracurriculars, you name it, this rivalry typically has it. It's the Oakland Roots and Monterey Bay FC for the first time meeting in USL Jägermeister Cup next here in the Coliseum.
Sana, sana.
Sana, sana, colita de rana.
Sana, sana, colita de rana. Si no sanas hoy,
Sanará mañana.
Learn about low to no-cost health insurance with Anthem Blue Cross, so you and your family can sana sana.
It turns out Oakland sports fans won't have to wait long to catch another game at the Oakland Coliseum.
Oh, city by the bay, let hope renew.
Love shall fill the streets of more than a few.
From every direction, let us converge.
A symphony of love leading a glorious surge.
O city by the bay, let hope renew. Brilliant minds set us apart. A new course we shall chart.
O San Francisco, be mighty, be proud. In love-filled hearts, may hope ring loud.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the inaugural USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. meet the starting lineups for both the Roots and Monterey Bay this evening, beginning with the home side. Lineups brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross.
That front two between Prentice and Sinisterra will be everything in terms of the success for Benny Feilhaber. Prentice is going to have the freedom to be really direct and really test the shape of Monterey Bay's back line, so that allows Sinisterra to be a little bit more of that focal point to play into. Armenakis is going to have the freedom underneath them, get those three in a rhythm and give them confidence. Now you can start to be really aggressive for Benny Feilhaber.
On the other side for Monterey Bay, Jordan Stewart has seen the goals really go away for his team as compared to early in the season. Can they get back tonight with this group?
And it starts with the stability, and that's going to become with Moby Fair and Ethan Bryant. Look for them to stay at home and be that security blanket in front of that back four. And on the ball, look for them just to slow the game down, to dictate tempo. If they do that, that allows Diego Gutierrez on the left-hand side to be very free to go and play centrally, and they have a lot of talent between Reblar, Galloway, and Larson.
Ready to get things going here at the Coliseum. It's Monterey Bay in the light blue from left to right. It's Oakland in the black and mosaic from right to left. Matthew Corrigan is the referee in green, and we are just about to get things going here in the Jägermeister Cup. These teams have met in different competitions before. Now for the first time in the Jägermeister Cup, the Roots and Monterey Bay, two local rivals going at it. Happy to have you with us on ESPN Plus with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Situation again for these teams tonight. Oakland must get to 7 points in order to have any opportunity, perhaps still, at a wild card berth. Monterey Bay, they have an opportunity still to be perfect on all 12 points, but that might not even be enough because Sacramento also have that possibility. These two teams don't play each other, Monterey Bay and Sacramento, in this tournament, so it's a matter of picking up those 12 points and also bolstering your goals scored tally, because that's the first tiebreaker in this tournament before goal differential. It's goals scored.
1 minute in, you already see Jordan Stewart electing his side to be really aggressive and high pressing, trying to force turnovers and win the ball in a more dangerous opportunity for the Oakland Roots. If you are inviting this pressure, now you have to have the ability to play direct into Sinisterra and Wolfgang Prentice.
Take a look at the injury report brought to you by UCSF Health. Nothing reported from either of these two teams coming into the day. I hope they keep it that way through the 90. You do see a bit of a strip there that doesn't seem like it belonged in the middle of the field. There was a cricket tournament that was just played here, so that is the reason for that patchwork in the middle of the field.
Big cricket fan?
That is the sport that I know by far the least about. Looks fun. Would love to learn more if anybody would like to show me the ropes, but between Olympics and other competitions, I think that is the sport that I by far know the least about. That even includes like badminton and stuff. Like I will go to town on badminton when it comes time for the Olympics. I don't know that I've ever watched cricket.
Alpha J98, tweet at him, teaching him a little bit of cricket. It does seem fun though, right?
It does seem fun, and I've seen some of the crowds that they get, and there's a tournament going on around the U.S. that I did look to get tickets for, even though I've never at all watch cricket.
No invite.
I just want to be a part of the crowd. I could invite you.
Okay.
Okay. We'll talk later. 2 minutes in here, and it's Oakland seeing more of the ball. That's something that could go either way, as we've learned early on in the tenure of Benny Feilhaber. But what we do know about this Oakland group under Benny Feilhaber, they've been a lot more secure defensively. Through 3 regular season games, a record of 1-1-1. They haven't conceded from the open run of play. They also haven't scored from the open run of play. Maybe that could change here. The right side, Riley looking centrally, cleared away by Muir. Now a foul goes against the Roots.
Really good opportunity in action for Panos Armenakis, who is a point of emphasis under Benny Feilhaber because he has a profile of being a true number 10. As he's running down century, allows Moridona to come around the corner. Good box defending in the end for Monterey Bay. But you and I had the ability to speak with Benny Feilhaber, to speak with Gavin Glinton, and playing in between the lines is something that the Oakland Roots needed to see on a more of a consistent basis. 4 minutes in, first action goes through Panos Armenakis. Good start for the Oakland Roots.
There was a 0-0 draw against El Paso to start the tenure of Benny Feilhaber, a 1-0 loss then at Colorado Springs, and a 1-0 win at Birmingham Legion. The goal against, scored by Colorado Springs, direct free kick. The goal for, scored against Birmingham on a penalty. So 3 games, no goals allowed from the run of play, no goals scored from the run of play. Jordan Stewart, in charge of a Monterey Bay side that has been struggling offensively, will have to contend with what has been a solid back line of Oakland under Benny Feilhaber. Larson unable to keep it in play. Had a good conversation with Jordan Stewart about just sort of what has plagued this team. The first half of the season, the goals were flowing, the wins were flowing. The second half of this first half of the season, if you break it into quarters, it's really gone away. The results haven't been so far this year, no shame in that. Every other game, they've been right there. They feel still, Monterey Bay, like they're creating enough opportunities, just not finishing them off at a high enough rate.
His direct quote was, "We need to be better in both 18." So defending, in terms of your box defending, you need to win your individual duels. And when you are on the ball, now you need to be efficient. You need to be clinical. Big opportunity here on the road in the Coliseum.
And what is, again, a must-win game in order to keep pace with Sacramento. Adrian Rebelar, the player, down. He just needs a moment. Take my word for it.
Unfortunate here for Rebelar. Just gets caught.
That injury timeout brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem is transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local communities. And nothing a few deep breaths there from Rebelar can't fix. Good pressure here from the Roots. Up top, Armanakis. The work rate is something that has jumped off the page as being different under Benny Feilhaber as well. In this press, Monterey Bay almost breaks it down. Picked up by Gagi. Bravo.
But for both of these teams, if they are electing to be really aggressive and high press, you need to do that in unison. You cannot allow that front line to go and keep your midfield and back line about 20 yards behind, because that just plays into the hands of the opposition. Gaps start to open up, and there's just too much talent on the field to afford any single one of these players the time and space to pick up their head and find the pass.
Some updates from elsewhere so far this evening in the Jägermeister Cup. Those of you following along the tournament abroad, the game of the night so far has been taking place in Texoma, hosting Phoenix Rising. That game is 4-4. And there's still a dozen minutes left. Former member of the Oakland Roots, Charlie Dennis, has a hat trick in that game for Phoenix. Here come Monterey Bay. Diego Gutierrez working on Camden Riley, spinning end line. And Gutierrez wins the first corner of the evening for Monterey Bay. Curled in off the short corner. Oakland deals well with it. The other
good
match
ball
of note, back to that in a second, slipped through here. Armanakis doesn't have any support, waiting for it. Feeding it toward that back post, chested into the hands of goalkeeper Sam Gomez. The other game going on that's of note right now, Orange County and Sacramento, they're 7 minutes in, still scoreless. Coming up in 20 minutes, kicking off, it's Vegas hosting Spokane. Those two games vitally important for Monterey Bay's chances here at the top of Group 1. So we'll keep you updated on the happenings there as the night goes along. And through for Prentice. Sinistero running with him. Wolfgang Prentice try to chop it underneath and then commits the foul. Interesting, Wolfgang Prentice, note, is wearing the captain's armband this evening for the Oakland Roots as well. In recent years, when he's been out there, it's typically been Novell Hackshaw. Just maybe gives you some insight into the mind of Benny Feilhaber as he's come in and gotten to know these players, wanting to put that responsibility on Wolfgang Prentice. Sometimes the armband forces you to grow to fit it. And Wolfgang Prentice has shown a lot already this year for Oakland. Fed through. Decent idea, Maury Donor wrapping up the right side.
Just talk about the press for Monterey Bay. Look how easy it is for the Oakland Roots to play through them, and now the whole game starts to open up for the Roots. And I just want you to watch the movement of Sinister. Center of your screen, he peels off right there. But when he creates that little bit of separation, you just need to be cleaner if you are Wolfgang Prentice to pick up your head and just lob the ball into a dangerous area. But if you're Benny Feilhaber, you have to be really pleased with how comfortable your side looks on the ball in situations just like this in between lines.
Here's Donor. Spent the last 3 years, Maury Donor, with Monterey Bay. Started this year at Detroit City and then moved over to Oakland mid-season. He'll let this one go. He realized it was hopeless in the end. Turns and has a shout back for a ball that he felt should have been better from Ramanakis. Roots fan, the 2025 Oakland Roots jerseys are here, celebrating the return to the Coliseum and the legacy of Oakland sports. Fresh look, same Oakland spirit. Don't wait, get yours today. Shop now at shop.oaklandrootssc.com. Ten minutes in, this game mostly controlled by Oakland thus far. Donor.
Again, right around Matthew Corrigan, our referee, just look at Wolfgang Prentice. That is going to be the outlet for the Oakland Roots, because it does seem like Moby Fair and Ethan Bryan are saying like for like with Gomez and El Masnaoui for the Oakland Roots. So if you are Benny Feilhaber, the message to your two center midfielders is just going to be deep. Just draw that midfield out so you can play into Wolfgang Prentice, and then you can make it a little bit more transitional, what plays into the favor of the Oakland Roots.
Sammy Gadiri getting the start at left back for Monterey Bay. 6 starts in the regular season. He's really cemented that role, but a giveaway here by Monterey Bay. Sinistera closing in, cutting in. Good run, tracking back from behind to win that one back. Sent long the other way. Spiegel ran it off his line, out for the header. Masnaoui, heavy touch, recovered. Gagi slips it through. Wolfgang Prentice wants it slipped through his way. Ramanakis brought down. Play continues, bounces away from Prentice and El Masnaoui. Bad bounce for the Roots. Monterey Bay looking the other way through Revelar.
Good strength there from Hackschall. Just baiting Revelar to take that long touch, and when he does, just puts a body on the winger. That's the advantage in the physical battle. Really good ball in from Gagi. Even better move from Wolfgang Prentice.
Riley defending. Laid off by Bryan. Gadiri. All the way back for Gomez, who's the cup goalkeeper this year, it seems, for Monterey Bay. He's yet to appear in the regular season. Has started matches in Jägermeister Cup, started their Open Cup matches as well. 2 clean sheets in his 4 starts coming in. Sam Gomez. Gadiri shielding his eyes from the sun. Shadows continuing to creep across the field here. Will be a non-factor in a couple of minutes. Still, for now, that sliver the sun. Mark Balashvili eating up some space. Gagi slips it through. Now it's Prentice. Wolfgang Prentice. Gagi kept his run going after he started that play. Again, without knowing behind the scenes if there was a falling out of favor, if there was a minor knock, Gagi was hardly ever used this year under Gavin Glinton after being such a key piece last year. That's one of the main switches of personnel that Benny Feilhaber has leaned into now in 4 matches. He had Gagi sub into the first match against El Paso for the second 45. He's played every minute since then, and he noted that Gagi just brings something different off the back line. He could step up off the back line like that, break lines on the dribble, break lines with a pass. He's really good in the air on set pieces. So he seems to be somebody that maybe wasn't in favor for Gavin Glinton, is for Benny Feilhaber, and it has paid dividends so far.
In particular, you look at the back line, the back 3 for the Oakland Roots to start this game. Hackshaw, Gagi, and Camden Riley, 3 players that are very comfortable with the ball at their feet. So now you have the luxury to play in between lines and to really break the initial pressure. And that's going to be a foul and a yellow card for Camden Riley. Clever little move for Gutierrez, just to let the ball come across his body. Then have a transitional moment for the center back.
And Riley knew it right away, too. As soon as he made contact, didn't even bother having a glance at the referee. Turned around, accepted his fate, and moved on. Quarter of an hour in, still scoreless here between the Oakland Roots and Monterey Bay FC. Big one in Group 1 of the Jägermeister Cup. Results from elsewhere heavily impact this one, too. This is one of those groups in the Jägermeister Cup that has the extra team in it. 7 teams here in Group 1. And the way the games, the fixtures were spread out, Sacramento and Monterey Bay don't play each other. Look out! Given away at the back from Gomez, and it trickles wide. Oh, the pressure from Sinisterra. It was almost the most fortunate, but also bred from hard work, goal of his life.
Just opportunistic from Sinisterra to track down this ball. Really casual here from Gomez. Just tries to overcomplicate it. No need to try to play out of the back when there's pressure oncoming. Just clear your lines. Nearly a massive mistake in favor of the Oakland Roots.
And as I was just laying out, and what is basically a must-win game here for Monterey Bay to, for now, keep pace with Sacramento. The 2 teams don't play each other. They're both perfect so far. There's a scenario where both end up on 12 points. But having not played each other, it comes down to goals scored. Fed through for Maury Donor, brought in. Donor, it's loose in front and deflected in. The former Monterey Bay man, Maury Donor, makes it happen, and the Roots lead 1-0.
The biggest difference that we've seen for the Oakland Roots under Benny Feilhaber is how comfortable the Roots are in central locations. The ability to play in between line. El Masnaoui head up the whole way, and he's really been given the opportunity to take that midfield role and make it his. Notice where he looks when he does recover this ball. It's forward, takes out that whole midfield line of Monterey Bay, and that allows Panos Armenakis to come centrally, and the patience is everything here. As he takes that first touch, Maury Donor really aggressive at just coming around the corner. You put the ball in a dangerous area, and you get the ability to crash towards that goal of Gomez. Chaos touch in your favor, and the Oakland Roots in the lead.
That will seemingly go down as an own goal when all is said and done. We'll wait for the official scoring on it. In Amsterdam Stadium for Maury Donor, I can almost assure you it's not going to go down that way. But it's something that we're starting to see from Maury Donor, because remember, in their last Jägermeister Cup game, the shootout loss against AV Alta, subs into the match, makes his Oakland debut. Almost a similar play, making a play down the right wing. The goalkeeper made an error for AV Alta, went down as an own goal, but Donor created it. He creates this one as well. And Oakland looking for more. Bravo. Drops it back for El Masnaoui. Riley to Donor. Flag stays down. Not on the same wavelength as Armenakis.
Just full of confidence right now, the Oakland Roots, and it starts with the double pivot of Gomez and El Masnaoui. Gomez is going to be more of the defensive-minded. El Masnaoui, you've seen he has the freedom just to push up and be aggressive and go as he sees fit. For Monterey Bay, they're having a really difficult time figuring out their pressing angles and their pressing positioning, especially with Ethan Bryant and Moby Fair.
Prentice Sinistera on the turn, slipping it through for Donor. Slip by Gomez, but he did enough to knock it away. It is starting to feel night and day for the Roots in terms of the attack and the initiative under Benny Feilhaber, and starting to show up early in this game.
With just too much time and space for Sinistera to get his hips around this ball, giving Maury Donor the freedom to be that vertical threat. So for Jordan Stewart, you need to figure out how you're approaching this game defensively. Are you going to step high? Are you going to jump off? Because they're getting
brought back for a whistle. Offside. Looked again like it was Jacob Muir who was the unlucky one defensively. He should get charged with that own goal for Monterey Bay. Still no official scoring on it, but we think it'll be Jacob Muir own goal. Came in the 17th minute officially. 20 minutes gone now. Oakland, the much better of the two sides. Must win for both. For Monterey Bay, it's just a matter of keeping pace at the top of the group. You almost got to have it. Even if they don't win it, they're not mathematically out in any way. They're going to be in it on the last day no matter what happens here. But it feels like a must-win situationally. For the Roots, it is a must-win situationally. They have to get to 7 to have any sort of chance in this group or as a wild card. It starts with a win here tonight. They get their first goal from the open run of play under Benny Feilhaber. 1-1-1 in his 3 games at the helm so far. But more so than the results or the goals scored or goals allowed, just the eye test. Jumping off the page seeming a lot different for these Roots.
playing at a higher tempo, and it just seemed like there's more options for the Roots once they do get into that final third. Really testing the shape of Monterey Bay and that backline who've struggled to get any sort of rhythm on and off the ball through the first 22 minutes here.
The official stats have now updated it, where it is Jacob Muir, 17th minute, the only goal, an own goal. Monterey Bay trying to get that back here, not down by Riley, not out of the danger, and now cleared.
Again, just look at the space that Monterey Bay is allowing the Oakland Roots to really operate in. That's when you need to lean on the leadership of Guzman and Muir, the two center backs. They need to be either really aggressive at stepping higher or having the communication to draw back Ethan Bryant and Moby Fair, because that is the biggest problem right now for Monterey Bay to try to get themselves back into this game.
Contact there, referee thought about it. Robert Vinci, the referee, he does call the foul against Monterey Bay. The USL on CBS Sports Network continues the first week in July with 3 big matchups. Birmingham Legion against the Charleston Battery. That's at 8 Eastern on Wednesday the 2nd. From there, last season's champs, Colorado Springs Switchbacks, will host Lou City FC. That's on Friday the 4th at 9 Eastern. And it's Charleston and North Carolina on Sunday the 6th at 5 Eastern. Catch it all on CBS Sports Network. I think the one to watch here, I guess all of them. Make sure you're watching all of them. But my favorite in that bunch is Birmingham and Charleston. I think we learn a lot about those two teams in that game. Travelar keeping it alive. Larson puts his head in the mix. Play continues. Oakland and Monterey Bay were both looking for foul calls. I suppose they cancel out.
Wolfgang Prentice in acres of space, center of your screen again. Monterey Bay, their balance is all over the field, and that's why they continue to get punished by the Roots.
Gomez muscles off Ethan Bryant. Turned over. Space here for Monterey Bay. Opportunity. They have the numbers. Try from distance. Spiegel watches it sail wide. Not a bad decision there in the end. The way Oakland was able to collapse back defensively. Just going for goal.
For Maury Donor here, now the top priority is you need to engage Hackshaw. You need to make him step off of his line, because that's when you can play into the path of Reblar. But if he doesn't step, why not call your own number and pull the trigger? Pulls it wide, but good decision in the end. Oh, Maury Donor there.
Well, be fair.
Maury
Donor. I know we're used to it. Spent 3 years on this Monterey Bay side, but Moby Fair. And it's Maury Donor who did it against his former team. igniting the own goal in the 17th minute.
Good touch.
To the end line here, Riley defending. And it did go out over the line. Another good run from Diego Gutierrez. One of the players who's getting a look tonight for Monterey Bay that really hasn't played much this year. Just one appearance so far for Diego Gutierrez. Joined last August from Charleston Battery. And he featured heavily down the stretch for Jordan Stewart. Made 5 starts, 8 appearances, scored a goal. He was sort of a bench player for the most part for Charleston before coming this way. This year hasn't been healthy. There's other players in front of him. So an opportunity for Gutierrez tonight to have his first start.
You just see the potential there for Diego Gutierrez's ability, especially to go 1v1 and be very talented as a winger. But now you just need to see the production numbers start to push higher. More goals, more assists, because he does a good job of getting himself into dangerous areas. Again, that is your center back. You're really aggressive. It just tells you the shape or lack thereof of Monterey Bay.
You can watch the USL Championship in Spanish on TUDN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Oakland against Detroit City, July 5th, 10 Eastern. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Oakland hoping to go into that game next week against Detroit City with the momentum of a victory here against Monterey Bay on the heels of a victory last week against Birmingham Legion. It's a new era under Benny Feilhaber. Coming up on a year that Jordan Stewart on the other side took charge of Monterey Bay after Frank Yallop. Had a chance to ask Jordan Stewart as we're approaching that 1-year anniversary what he's learned most about this league, and he said the biggest thing is just the speed and the transition of it. It's a league he's played in, it's a league he's been around, and I think that's the biggest thing so far tonight. Transitional moment now for Monterey Bay. Big save by Spiegel. Kept alive by Bryant. Now wide to Miles Lyons. Overlap was there. Cut off well by Oakland. Coach pointed it out, Jordan Stewart. It's about transition. They had a moment there.
Fantastic recognition here from Sammy Gadir. First to continue his run, but to hit it first time and early. Haksha gets pulled out, so that allows Larson and Akers a space. You talk about reading of the game as a goalkeeper. Spiegel coming off and making himself extremely big to deny Monterey Bay the equalizer.
Wolfgang Prentice screaming for it. Donor circulates it back. Armanakis, more than halfway through this first half. Very one-sided so far in terms of the overall control in favor of Oakland. Sinistero looking for something. Will end up earning the first corner of the evening here for the Oakland Roots. Corner brought to you by Ava Community Energy.
Good running off the ball here from Sinistero. Just to play in between both center backs, Yuri and Guzman. In the end, fantastic recovery run from the experienced center back of Monterey Bay.
This corner kick is powered by Ava Community Energy, clean power.
This first corner of the evening, Oakland had something set at the penalty spot. It worked out, man unmarked.
And something straight off the training ground for Benny Feilhaber to have every single one of your players crash towards that far post to pull out the back line of Monterey Bay. Just open up some space for Hackshaw to run onto it. Just mishits it from the center back, but definitely has that in his locker.
Switch here from Monterey Bay into space. Igniting this attack through Gadiri. Sammy Gadiri. Give it away. Gomez in the right spot at the right time. Andy Gomez looking through for El Masnaoui. It's intercepted. Starting to find a foothold in this game, Monterey Bay. They've had success committing numbers forward in the press and giving Oakland trouble that way in their possession. Riley.
Great ball.
Nice line splitting ball there for Armanakis. Poor first touch though from Armanakis, sort of threw it out of whack. Recovered well. It's Donor. Bravo. Sinistera. Nice combination play here for the Roots. Sinistera feeds it along for Armanakis. Now Donor. Options in the middle. Donor feeds it in front. Almost another own goal. The call, Morty Donor, the own goal specialist apparently for the Roots. He's ignited a couple already. 2 in Jägermeister Cup, nearly a second on the night.
And also call him the most dangerous player for the Oakland Roots. It's almost a carbon copy. As Armanakis comes century, he pulls out Semi Gadiri, which gives Donor the ability to push up and create an overload. Put the ball in a dangerous area, you get rewarded almost a second for the Roots.
Carlos Guzman, the unlucky soul that time, who almost put it into his own net. Another Ava Community Energy corner kick for the Roots. Go direct this time instead of going short, and gathered by Sam Gomez. You can join in style this year with Roots premium seating. From the all-inclusive Club Oak to field boxes or dugout seats. Great options for any occasion. Secure your tickets now. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/tickets or call 510-488-1144. Now we're gone here at the Coliseum. Lone goal 17 minutes in. Own goal against Monterey Bay. Elsewhere, no score through a half an hour between Orange County and Sacramento. It's an important game for Monterey Bay at the top of Group 1. And depending on that result, how Oakland's future looks. Anybody who's dived into the rabbit hole of some of the scenarios in Jägermeister Cup, of which there are plenty, our research makes it seem like there is only one pathway forward for the Roots to even get on the same point level as the top teams in this group. But then even so, it's a giant spool of yarn to untangle in terms of the tiebreakers. So we'll spare you with those possibilities because it is very, very detailed for the Roots. Let's just say it's something that feels 1 in a million for them to win this group. Their best hope is just getting to 7 points and maybe being a wild card team. To win tonight and win their final group game to even have that opportunity by just getting to 7 points. Have this lead so far here, at least tonight.
Good move.
Be something on here from Monterey Bay to the end line from Gutierrez, put in front to Larson. Turn aside now, try from distance, deflected in front by Larson. He might have stopped that one from going through. Seemed like Spiegel would have had an easy save, but you'll never know. Only fire from a teammate in front.
A little bit of the glimpse of the 1v1 ability from Diego Gutierrez to go full head of steam at a very high tempo and not elude 1 but 2 Oakland Roots player, just so silky. But then also to pick up his head, Larson needs to crash across that near post to open up a better window so Gutierrez to pop this ball into. In the end, good recovery run from Gagi to deny the ball across. But now you need to see a little bit more of those actions on a consistent basis if you are Jordan Stewart in the attacking phase of this game.
Corner dropped in. Well, Hackshaw heading it clear for Oakland. Those Lions to the end line. Deflected out for another Monterey Bay corner.
Wide parts of the field. Point of emphasis for Monterey Bay. Here's Galloway, Diego Gutierrez are coming centrally to number 1, create an overload in central locations, but also to open up the lane for Gadiri and Miles Lyons to be really aggressive. So we've seen that over the last couple minutes here for Monterey Bay.
Short from the corner. Gutierrez balloons this one. Spiegel tracking it and misread it, slapped it away. Unfortunately, off of Donor, almost gave them an empty net opportunity.
Adventurous from Spiegel there.
Well, that's what happens when you don't get to play a ton. Spiegel just been the Cup goalkeeper in the Jägermeister Cup and Open Cup for the Roots. It's been McIntosh every step of the way in the regular season for Oakland. Do not envy the life of a goalkeeper. So few jobs, almost no rotation. Games few and far between, and then you're expected to just pick up like you've been playing regularly, and I suppose it's the life they sign up for, but it's not an easy one. So much of goalkeeping is rhythm and timing and reading the game and reps and reps and reps that you just can't necessarily replicate on the training ground. There's an Sinistero on the stories that matter to you. Oakland side, news for Oakland.
Quicker to recognize this ball from Sinistero. Lions gets caught out. Just a different sense of freedom between the two strikers for the Oakland Roots now. Wolfgang Prentice, Sinistero. But as they do want to go and search the game and get more involved, they have to be very aware that you need to continue to have a reference point and a focal point to stay as high as they can, just to occupy the center backs, but also just to be an outlet that the Roots can play into.
Gutierrez. Deary presented as the overlap goes inside instead. Good idea there for Monterey Bay. Frustration, though, up top from Adam Larson, who wanted that ball shaped a bit differently, and he was offside, so the timing was all off, even if the ball came off properly. But the ideas are starting to percolate now for Monterey Bay.
Really clever player. Larson is just within his movement. In particular, the attacking 18-yard box scores a lot of his goals when he plays off the blind side and just pops up at the right place at the right time. 13 touches through the first 38 minutes here. So a big talking point for Jordan Stewart is getting him more influential, not only on the ball, but off the ball. Maybe it's that type of selfless runs that pull out Hackshaw Gagi or Camden Riley to allow Adrian Rebular to be that secondary option.
Riley in on this challenge, has to be careful. He's already on a yellow. There was nothing there that was worthy of a second yellow, but those start to add up in the mind of the referee. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big league, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest product specials and more. Select, a player's choice. Gutierrez struggling, it seems, to shake this one off as he hobbles back into play, and a pretty long talk there from the referee to Riley. Going to take for Monterey Bay to break down this Oakland defense that, again, has not conceded from the open run of play since Benny Feilhaber took over. 3 full matches in the books. 0-0 draw against El Paso, 1-0 loss against Colorado Springs, but the only goal there, brilliant free kick from about 25 yards out, and then a 1-0 win against Birmingham. Flip side of that, through those 3 games, Oakland hadn't scored from the open run of play until their lone goal in this one tonight. Although to take that a step further, as Riley's brought down, and a yellow will be shown to Gutierrez. A member of the Roots hasn't scored from the open run of play under Benny Feilhaber since that earlier goal, an own goal, 17 minutes in.
There's no need here from Diego Gutierrez. Number one, just to get his feet set, you want to continue to move your feet when you are trying to close down the space. Handful of the jersey right in front of our referee, deserving of a yellow card. Just a bit silly from the winger of Monterey Bay.
I would say there are 3 adjectives for that foul. Silly, tactical, and vengeful, because Gutierrez was just fouled moments prior by Riley, so all deserving of a yellow card, and there wasn't much of an argument.
Really good vocabulary there, Joe.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Did well on the SAT.
Did you?
I did. 2,000 super score. Maury Donor floats it in. How'd you do?
Couldn't even tell you.
You were there to play soccer, not play school.
I got my degree. Got it early also.
Good for you.
Pat myself on the back there.
I got it a semester early myself.
Twins.
There we
I
go.
wonder why we like each other.
Exactly. Donor. Most impactful player so far tonight. He created the own goal in the 17th minute.
Great
Almost
move.
now, great turn in behind. Nothing comes of it from there. He thought he was fouled. Ball stays in play for Oakland. Such a clever little player, Almost now. Riley from a distance, easily seen and gathered by Gomez.
Just a different sense of confidence from El Masnaoui under Benny Feilhaber. The ability to wiggle out of tight spaces and just to create passing lanes to look forward. And I love every time he does receive the ball, he wants to play forward. He wants to get his attacking players involved a little bit more. And that is a midfielder that is starting to grow into his own under new management.
Plenty of space here for Armanakis. Panos Armanakis, one touch too heavy, moment wasted. And a foul goes against Oakland.
You need to be a little bit smart if you're Sinister. You need to loop your run away from the pressure, because as you start to come across the back line of Guzan, now you're just bringing traffic into Panos Armanakis, who just wants to get this ball on his left foot. If you pull Guzan away, now Armanakis has the defender at his mercy. So now you need to be clever at bringing in your teammates, not only on the ball, but off the ball as well as a striker.
It's been physical between these teams. We showed you top of the broadcast how last game ended. A 3-2 win for Monterey Bay, but a scuffle to say the least after ball was kicked off of Panos Armanakis. And then a lot of pushing and shoving resulted in a red card. These teams have a history going back some years in that department. Sinisterra.
Just hasn't been clean enough from Sinisterra through the first 44 minutes here. Finding himself in some real nice spaces, but time after time, his technical ability continues to let him down.
Total unofficially 1 minute of stoppage time upcoming.
Just see Benny Feilhaber on the sideline, very animated, saying he thought that Maury's owner got fouled there. Tend to agree with him.
As the fourth officials indicated, there will be a minimum of 1 minute stoppage time in the first half.
There's that confirmation of 1 minute of stoppage time brought to you by KTVU Plus. Gomez. Slip through for Bravo. Now Prentice. Is there something left in this half for Oakland? Prentice cleared. Kagi stepping up. Brought down. Free kick in a very good area here for Oakland to cap off this first half.
Starts off with the ability to read the game from Gagi and just pick out Larson here. And as this ball comes century, both midfielders of Monterey Bay get occupied with it. They turn and face the ball. Gagi gets a line higher and really clever from the center back. He sees the pressure oncoming of Miles Lyons and he goes down to win a dangerous set piece for the Oakland Roots right before halftime. Two real options here. Almanacas to go around the wall. Danny Gomez to go up and over the wall.
It is Gomez laying it off. Something off the training ground, and Prentice puts it right at Gomez. So there was a third option there for you. And there's a whistle to end this first half. On that note for Oakland, could have maybe been more than just the 1-0, but they'll take the one. Own goal 17 minutes in.
The Oakland Roots were the better side on the ball, creating opportunities, playing in between lines for Benny Feilhaber. You have to be really pleased with the performance. Now you just need a little bit more ruthlessness in the final third. And for Monterey Bay and Jordan Stewart, over the last 10 minutes, it was better defensively. Now that next step in the progression is just to be a little bit more threatening in that final third.
Second meeting overall in 2025 between these two clubs. Met once in the regular season back in March, a 3-2 win for Monterey Bay. The Roots trying to get on track here and level the 2025 series with a victory in Jägermeister Cup. Both of these teams need to win to stay alive for very different reasons. It's the Roots having their way right now, up 1-0 on Monterey Bay. More to come from the Coliseum.
Sana, sana. Sana, sana, colita de rana.
Sana, sana, colita de rana. Si no sana soy.
Sanará mañana.
Learn about low to no-cost health insurance with Anthem Blue Cross, so you and your family can sana sana.
A dazzling goal for 20,000 to witness a jubilation.
O city by the bay, let hope renew.
Love shall fill the streets of more than a few.
From every direction, let us converge.
A symphony of love leading a glorious surge.
O city by the bay, let hope renew. Brilliant minds set us apart. A new course we shall chart.
O San Francisco, be mighty, be proud. In love-filled hearts, may hope ring loud.
At the break here in Oakland, Roots fans happy with a 1-0 lead for their side over rival Monterey Bay through 45 minutes. Big news week for Oakland. Just dropped yesterday that their training facility will be a permanent longer-term home. The former facility of the Oakland Raiders now fully under the ownership of the Roots. It's huge for the players to have.
Just massive for the players. It just continues to push the standard higher, not only for the Oakland Roots, but USL Championship as a whole. You walk in between these walls, you just want to be great. You want to continue to work hard and be the best player that you can be. Hats off to the Oakland Roots.
Again, they've been here for the last couple of years, so it's not new digs per se, but no longer leasing, no longer renting. It is theirs now to officially call home. They've got plenty in the offing, perhaps new stadium down the line and all that talk, but their facility, they know, is here to stay. So with this 1-0 lead at the break over Monterey Bay in the Jägermeister Cup, take a look behind the scenes at how everything is put together here in the Jägermeister Cup.
Turn on your TV and get ready to be entertained. Few things can captivate a mass audience like live sports. And if a broadcast feels like magic,
a lot of people just think you flick the switch and it's easy and it magically appears, but there's so much that goes into it behind the scenes.
Mike Friedman is the vice president and executive producer at NEP Media Services. For USL National Broadcasts on CBS, Friedman's team is close to 40 people.
They're led by the producer and director. That's for any production. And then from there, you have associate directors, you have graphics people, you have replay people, you have the camera operators, you have engineers, you have tech managers, all working for that one common goal of a smooth broadcast.
Now here's something you may not know. At NEP in South Florida, hundreds of broadcasts in the USL Championship, League One, and Super League are broadcast remotely. All stadium cameras feed directly to NEP. And just like a truck on site, camera shots are switched live. And there are eyeballs on the product. In April, CBS's production of Phoenix Rising FC at San Antonio FC peaked at 776,000 viewers.
The way we do TV for other sports is different than soccer, so it's finding that sweet spot of taking what people are used to seeing and adding that American TV touch into it.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
3 ice-cold Jägermeister shots, please. Those look warm.
Serve it cold or don't serve it at all. Jägermeister. Damn, that's cold.
Brilliant strike from Nicoleno. Push the switchbacks up 1-0. Slotted toward goal. A flying start for Charleston Battery at home. 1-0 lead at the break for Oakland over Monterey Bay. It's a big night here in Group 1 of the Jägermeister Cup. Some scores from elsewhere. Out-of-town scores brought to you by Visit Oakland. Get out on the town and visit Oakland to explore arts, culture, and world-class Can team. Good vibes here at the Coliseum to the first 45 minutes with the Roots up 1-0. They would like to expand upon that if they can, going into half number 2. When we return, we'll get things going with the second half.
A dazzling goal for 20,000 to witness a jubilation.
It turns out Oakland sports fans won't have to wait long to catch another game at the Oakland Coliseum.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. Just about set to get things going here in the second half between Oakland and Monterey Bay, but first a trip back into the first half. A look at highlights. Roots getting on the board 16 minutes in.
Again, really good play in between the lines for the Oakland Roots, and I love the aggressive nature. First from El Masnawi to play it into the path of Gomez, and then you just see the play developing. The patience from Almanakis gives Moridono the ability to be aggressive from his right back position to create an overload. You put the ball in a dangerous area, you will get rewarded. And just like that, the Oakland Roots take the lead through a fantastic bit of play. Benny Fehlhaber needs to be pleased how they open up the scoring here.
Only thing he might not be pleased with is they probably left opportunities out there to tack on to the one-goal lead.
And it was, again, central locations that we start to see this game create opportunities. I love what Sammy Gadiri does here. He takes a long touch and hits it first time, which gives Larson the ability just to run onto it, but even better recognition here from Spiegel to make himself big and to come off of his line really quickly.
Went back and forth for a little stretch of this half after Oakland really had that early control. It was nearly another own goal sprung by Moridono. This time it was Guzman who left the foot out, just trying to clear this one. Fortunate for Monterey Bay, it goes off the post and then just out for a corner. But that was just another indication that the Roots were finding a way, and then one last set piece to cap off the half.
Really good action here from Gagi to win the ball, draw the foul, and everyone goes towards the goal mouth to give Wolfgang Prentice the ability just to come around the corner and he's going to want this one back. He should be picking out a corner, and it's a really easy save in the end for Gomez.
Team's ready to get things going now in this second half. It's the biggest key for both of these sides, given the way the first 45 minutes went.
We'll start with Jordan Stewart. They need to be better defensively. In terms about their spacing, you need Bryant and Moby Fair to be a little bit clever at just staying at home, at least needing a pocket presence defensively. Because if you do that, now you can break out lines and you can really condense the space in front. And that gives Rebular, Galloway, Gutierrez, and Larson the ability and the confidence to be expansive. For the Oakland Roots and Benny Feilhaber, you need to get that second goal earlier rather than later.
Oakland left to right in the black, Monterey Bay right to left in the light blue, and away we go in the second half. Happy to have you with us on ESPN Plus with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Same players who started this game start the second half for Monterey Bay. Two changes on the Oakland side. Ilya Alexeev, Babosi Biarahanga come into the match for Wolfgang Prentice and Camden Riley. Riley was on a yellow. That gets erased now. Looks like they've slid Julian Bravo in as that extra center back now, the Roots. Ilya Alexeev will set up as the wing back on that far side, and Biarahanga slots into the midfield. So a little bit of maneuvering here for Benny Feilhaber. First time that he's gotten to see Babosi Biarahanga out there under his tenure. When he took over Benny Feilhaber, Biarahanga was on international duty with Uganda. Saw him play against Gambia and against his teammate Abukar Njai in that national team meeting. Biarahanga back out there now and plays it back.
Now you have more of a defensive-minded midfielder for Biarahanga. So in theory, that should allow Danny Gomez to be more box-to-box. But you have to find that same balance, because that was a strong point for the Oakland Roots, especially in that first half. El Masnabi was doing a really good job at just playing forward.
Midfield setup looks interesting right now for the Roots. It looks like a box with Sinistera sitting alone up top. Still that back five, but a box in the midfield with Gomez and Biarahanga at the base of it, El Masnawi and Armanakis up top. So a 5-4-1 of sorts with that box midfield. It's a unique look, and again, just getting to know Benny Feilhaber in charge of this team now for 3.5 games. These are some of the new wrinkles you could expect to see situationally. How do you perform under certain circumstances? It's the first time you're beginning a second half like this with the lead under Benny Feilhaber. How do you tweak it? How do you build on it? All things we're learning about this side here in these couple of weeks.
Let's play with dual 10s for Benny Feilhaber, Armanakis, and El Masnawi. And what that should do, that should allow Alexeev and Maury Donor to be expansive, but also be very vertical. Because that's where the Roots found the most success, when they would play centrally to go out wide and let their wingbacks be aggressive.
Maury Donor end line deflected. It feels like every time he plays the ball, it's a deflection that you're wondering if it could turn into an own goal. The first corner of this second half for the Roots, brought to you by Ava Community Energy.
And really good recovery run from Sammy Gadiri. Not easy to stay like for like with Maury Donor.
Robert Vinci will come in and have a conversation first before this corner for the Roots. Continue to keep you updated on the other happenings in Group 1 of the Jägermeister Cup. Still goalless in both of the other two matches. Corner swung in by Armanakis, headed clear by Guzman. Chance to break out here for Monterey Bay in transition, defending the set piece from defense to offense. Led by Adam Larson. Maury Donor gets up hot at his back line for not recovering better. Fortunately for Oakland, it was back off of Larson, out for a goal kick.
You need more quality here from Larson, especially with how talented he is. You need to engage Maury Donor. If he steps, that's when you play it across. And if you do elect to strike it, it needs to be with your left foot. There's just no angle there to get your right foot around it. He's going to want this one back in terms of his technical ability, but also his decision-making not good enough to start this second half.
I gave Maury Donor too much credit there. I thought he hawked it down, blocked it and deflected off of Larson. He just completely misfired there, Larson. There was no deflection, nothing. It was well off.
You also have to give credit to Maury Donor. He's playing that cat and mouse game. Is he going to step? Is he going to drop? And that little bit of confusion really sets into Larson. That's why it throws him off. It's a really difficult position to be in if you are Maury Donor there. Because if you step too early, it opens up a passing lane going back the other way. Finds that right balance.
Big test here for Jordan Stewart's group. Team that has struggled in the attack in this second quarter of the season, we'll call it. If you split the first half into two separate halves, call them quarters. First quarter, they were flying in the results, scoring a ton of goals. Second quarter, the results have dipped, goals have dipped. He knows it, they know it. Just a matter of trying to punch their way out of it. Chances still being created, but not being clinical enough. You mentioned it in the first half, it's both boxes where they've been let down. So far, the story so far tonight. On one end, defensive letdown turns into an own goal. On the other end, getting into some decent spaces, but not capitalizing. Cutting in Gutierrez. There's a clip it through for Revelar. Roots return home to the Coliseum on Saturday, July 5th. That's at 7 p.m. against Detroit City FC. Individual tickets still available, so before they sell out, make sure you visit oaklandrootssc.com/tickets or call 510-488-1144 to get yours. Given away at the back by Bravo carelessly. Revelar looking through, Bryant stepping up.
Watch out.
Awkward challenge there. El Masnaoui gets caught. Card is yellow for Ali El Masnaoui.
Really rash challenge here from El Masnaoui. Tries to win the ball, but just mistimes this challenge and catches Pierce Galloway. His right leg is really high. Deserving of a yellow card. It'd be interesting to see how Monterey Bay deals with the two 10s for the Oakland Roots, especially with Moby Fair and Ethan Bryant being very man-orientated defensively. The responsibility is going to be on Guzman or Muir to be really aggressive at stepping in and just condensing that space in front of them.
Gutierrez stands over it again. Good time to remind you that he is the other one out there with a yellow card right now, in addition to El Masnaoui after that challenge. One yellow card aside. Gutierrez, far enough that you can't shoot it, but you're a little too close to get a good ball in on the service, and that is usually what ends up happening unless you get it to absolute perfection.
You just need to change the angle there. That's why we see so many teams just roll the ball, stop it, and then try to cut down or play towards that back post for a knockdown. Like you said, that angle, you have to have the technical ability and the weight to be perfect to drop it into a dangerous area.
And even when you do, then you're expecting a perfect header across frame from whoever is making that end line run. In that case, it was Gadiri going full speed. That's not an easy ask either. That went out for a goal kick.
It seems like the weight right now for Monterey Bay, once they do get into that final third, is just a little bit too heavy. And that set piece moments ago, and then that ball into Adrian Revelar, who in himself going to be a real weapon for Jordan Stewart.
Good to see Revelar has recovered from an early knock in this one. Alexiv trying to piece that one through for Armanakis. One awkwardly came up and caught catch on the hand. He tried to get away with it. I think he realized afterwards that he might not have, although there was some contact behind the play on the ball that was played up.
Late here from Steve catches. As Lyons does try to make the most of it, the outside back. Jordan Stewart right there, giving our referee an earful as well.
Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Armanakis, Yarahanga. Something may be on here for the Roots. Through for Sinistera. He's brought down, kept his footing barely. Armanakis on that left foot, curling, saved, and no rebound from Gomez. Well done.
Really good work. Starts with Yarahanga to keep this ball alive, and then just the movement of Sinistera. Armanakis is going to shoot this every single day of the week, especially with the run of Maury Donor, who thinks he should be getting played in. Just another mishit ball far. I'll be fair. Just once you watch how Sinistera peels off and requires so much attention. Bottom of your screen, Maury Donor in acres of space. If Panos Armanakis picks up his head, just not enough weight to really test Gomez.
Close call there for Spiegel, but did enough to move it along for Gagi.
It's better defensively for Monterey Bay. Just notice how much more compact they are when Oakland is trying to build out, and it starts with Guzman, and we're being really aggressive, standing around that midfield line, keeping everything in front of them.
Question right now for Monterey Bay is, can they still find a way to get Adam Larson going? Goal and an assist through 9 regular season games, a goal and an assist in the Jägermeister Cup. There's a heavy bit of contact behind the play that had Benny Fehlhaber irate. Referee Robert Vinci is jogging over that way now. He's shown a yellow. Watch the end of this here. Just that grab and pull down defensively from Miles Lyons. He's shown the yellow.
Fans, your attention, please. Yellow card has been issued to Monterey Bay FC's number 15 of Miles Lyons. Card issued to 57.
And Miles Lyons, in his first year at Monterey Bay, spent the last 3 at El Paso. He's made 11 appearances, 8 starts in the regular season. 22-year-old coming out of that El Paso system, was one of their more highly touted prospects on his way through. Barca Residency Academy, FC Tucson Academy, and committed to the University of Portland collegiately. Then switched to Cal State Fullerton. A lot of players for the Roots over the years have played there, but then decided to turn pro with El Paso. Here's Donor now off that free kick. It's deflected and in. Oh, Maury Donor just continues to create for the Roots, who now lead by 2.
The relationship continuing to flourish between Panos Armanakis and Maury Donor on the right-hand side for the Oakland Roots. Just notice the spacing of Panos as he comes century. Sammy Guderi needs to come and be really compact with his offensive set, which gives Maury Donor acres of space to come around. And his first touch here is everything to get himself into the attacking 18-yard box, and has eyes for that far post to give Oakland Roots the knockout.
Tell you what, I don't want to mess with that corner flag. Knock down Donor and Gagi. Awkward bit of goalkeeping, though, for Sam Gomez there. You could see it on that second angle, the close-up. Seemed like it should have been a nonchalant save. It hit his hand and then went off the post and in. Maury Donor will take it. It's finally a goal that goes to his name after creating a couple of own goals already in this tournament for the Roots after joining a month ago. He gets credit for this one. And now some subs out of that as well. El Masnaoui will depart. replaced by Peter Wilson, who we highlighted at the top of the broadcast for what he could bring offensively for the Roots in case they needed a goal, but they don't need that right now. They're up 2-0. See if he could just provide some additional insurance as we tick toward the hour mark. On the other side, Diego Gutierrez and Ethan Bryant both coming off the field. Miles Lyons as well, a trio of changes for Monterey Bay. Monterey Bay, it's Mael Malongo, Javi Nyalati, and Grant Robinson. 3 players on for Gutierrez, Bryant, and Lyons.
Replacing number 8, Ethan Bryant. Also checking in number 12, Grant Robinson, replacing Miles Lyons. For Oakland Roots, substitution. Checking in for substitute number 9, Peter Wilson.
Different look now for Monterey Bay as you bring in Grant Robinson. He's going to play at the left back position, but can also come centrally. Malongo's going to give you verticality. He's going to give you 1v1 ability as well. And Nyalati, a player that likes to play in between lines. This is Jordan Stewart trying to chase this game and call himself back for Monterey Bay. Tough challenge there from Sammy Gadiri.
Alexi brought down, free kick on the way. Yellow is shown to Gadiri. They just subbed off both of their yellow cards in Miles Lyons and Diego Gutierrez, but Gadiri brings one back out there for Monterey Bay.
Just no need to leave your feet here for Sammy Gadiri. If you just continue to retreat towards your goal mouth, you don't need to win this ball. Alexiv is going nowhere. As a defender, you can use the end line and the sideline to your favor. If you just force him away, become a little bit overzealous, and you get yourself into the book.
A lot of chatter over this free kick here between Armanakis and Gomez. It's essentially a shorter corner kick.
We've seen the Oakland Roots twice elect to just crash towards that goal mouth to open up an avenue towards a cutback. So you have Biarahunga and Alexiv right on top of the 18-yard box here.
It's rolled back for Gomez, curled in toward the back post. See what the intention was, doesn't quite come off that way. To look back again at the goal for Maury Donor. Watch, there's no deflection there. And Gomez just whiffed. He got a fingertip on it. He still hit the post and went in. It just, was he expecting a deflection that just didn't happen? Or
I think he's expecting the contact from Weir just to run into him. But like you said, Joe, I do think that the goalkeeper should be making a save because there is not a lot of power in that shot from Maury Donor.
Wilson. Armanakis weaving through. Still Armanakis, save made by Gomez, making up for that last issue on the second goal with a big save here. That's some of the individual brilliance that Armanakis can bring in a given moment. Gomez made amends for the mishap on the second goal with that one. And I don't want to pile on too much, but again, just a reminder, it is not their regular keeper, so minutes few and far between. It's only the 5th start of the year for Sam Gomez. So in moments like that, that's where you see some of that inexperience or lack of playing time pop up. It should have been not only a routine save, but probably a catch and a gather and a possession the other way. It's the Roots' second goal, but on the other side, you see what he can flash with a big save like that. Former Ohio Valley Conference Goalkeeper of the Year in his time at SIU Edwardsville, Sam Gomez. Gadiri.
Those are moments that if you are Monterey Bay and you do have the ability to take out a line of the Oakland Roots, you have to continue to be aggressive. Sammy Gadiri does a good job at bypassing Alexiv, but as he chops it back, now you just see where this play ends up with the 2 center backs in Monterey Bay, allowing Oakland Roots just to get into their defensive set and be really difficult to break down.
Won't be fair. There's been a change in Group 1. Vegas up to 9 points. They have a 1-0 lead on Spokane at the moment. Remember, they're playing their 4th and final game here already. This one clipped over the top. Defensive header there from the Roots, out for a corner. So Vegas needed to win this game tonight to be the leaders in the clubhouse. In this 7-team group, there is going to be somebody who's left out on the final weekend of play. So it'll be them. Will they go into that final weekend on 9 points as the group leaders, just hoping and rooting for other results to go their way? Have to get through the rest of that match first at home against Spokane, up 1-0. From the corner, Spiegel fumbled it. This one falls for Sinistera after his hustle. Numbers here for the Roots, led by Sinistera. Good defensive play by Guzman, popping it up, look out. Sinistera clobbered by Sam Gomez. Referee will stop play here to make sure that Sinistera is all right.
Almost a very similar play that we saw moments ago in favor of Monterey Bay. That is a striker, Larson, splitting the difference. And that is a really hard challenge for Gomez, but he needs to go out and win this ball. That is exactly what you're taught as a goalkeeper. If you do elect to step off of your line, you need to be decisive to make a play on this ball. Teammate or not, go through them. No ill will, just every right for the goalkeeper to clear his lines.
Injury timeout brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem is transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local communities. Chance for Benny Fehlhaber to have a chat with his guys coming over. Same on the other end for Jordan Stewart, Monterey Bay, and they have a lot of figuring out to do. Team that's been struggling to score goals, struggling to pick up results, down 2-0 on the road against the Roots. Team they beat back in March, a team they may have to contend with in the regular season standings down the stretch here. At the moment, Monterey Bay in 6th place on 19 points. The Roots are all the way down in 11th, but it's only 5 points that separate the teams, and the Roots have a game in hand. So this is not the last you'll be hearing of these two teams and how they intertwine in their fates the rest of the season. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights, plus live matches from the USL, MLS Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Monterey Bay set to make a 4th change. Luke Ivanovic is up and ready. Told it'll be for Adam Larson, who's had an up and down game up top. He's popped up into some good spots, but really hasn't done anything once he's been in those spaces.
Good opportunity here for Monterey Bay.
Malongo. Cutting in, waited too long, and then a heavy touch ended it.
Just too casual here from Malongo. First continues to go wide. You need to go towards goal. You need to bring in one of the 3 center backs of the Oakland Roots because you have a numerical advantage there. Decision making, or lack thereof, for Monterey Bay continue to haunt them in the final third of play.
How much of it at this point for a team like Monterey Bay is just psychological? Spiegel having some fun at the back. That was probably not necessary, but it worked out. But how much of it is just psychological at this point for Monterey Bay, given the struggles they've been having?
I think it's a big part of it, but professional sports, you hear it every single time, whether you are in the media, whether you are a player or just a fan, it's in between the ears. No matter what struggles you're going through, the rhythm that you are or not in, you have to continue that same mentality. You have to continue to work hard and continue to trust your training. Malongo's a 1v1 player. He needs to go at the back line for the Oakland Roots there and just express yourself and make something happen as we see that sub from Monterey Bay.
Nice flick on from Moby Fair. Something could be on here for Monterey Bay. Malongo was making a run, but again, waiting too long. That's been the theme. This time it was Chavignolati. Nice line-splitting ball. Flag stays down. Grant Robinson played it in. Now it's out to Malongo. Malongo over the top, flicked away by Hackshaw. Feels like a lot of the issues for Monterey Bay, just hesitation, indecision, and those are all things that pop up for a team that's not confident, that's overthinking things, overanalyzing things. 20 minutes to go, trying to figure things out. Robinson.
Just see the difference between Oakland Roots in the final third versus Monterey Bay. It's a very similar situation there, the way that Grant Robinson picks up that ball. I think Panos Armanakis continues to go at the back line, and he brings in the outside back, which gives Maury Donor the space. If you're Grant Robinson, you need to continue to be aggressive to play in Malongo there. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Coming for your job, Joe.
I'll play you in eFootball for it.
All right, I'm the Oakland Roots.
Fair. Played through, Sinistera. Knocked over by Muir. Referee thought about it for a second and then blew the whistle against Oakland. And a yellow being shown to Sinistera, I believe. Interesting. That's one of those where it seemed like the referee wasn't sure at first whether it even was or wasn't a foul, then decides to come in and give Sinistera a yellow, although probably the right decision in the end. Sinistera didn't argue it at all.
A tough challenge from Sinistera. First touch lets him down, tries to recover. Studs are exposed. He's had himself a really difficult evening in terms of just the quality and the efficiency in the final third.
Wilson. Works it back to Gomez. Now Donor, who scored the second and created the first. Own goal, 17th minute, charge to Muir. And he scored his own in the 58th. Armanakis with the assist. I still think in the official stat book, on own goals, whoever plays it should get credit for an assist.
I've actually never heard that. That's interesting.
Get an
assist.
I like
it. Yeah.
Some leagues around the world give an assist if you draw the penalty.
I don't like that.
I don't love that, but I understand it. But I think if you create the own goal, only if there is something created off of it. If it's just a back pass from a defender to a goalie, obviously it goes in, forget it. But if you shoot it, you cross it, it goes in, you get the assist.
I like it.
I'll run it up the flagpole at FIFA and IFAB and hope it trickles down from there. Although I suppose we could go rogue on that one, because assists usually go by the league. Like MLS gives the secondary assist, the hockey assist. And as I mentioned, other leagues around the world give the assist if you draw the penalty. So might have to
start a petition.
Might have to fly to Tampa and have a little meeting here. See if we can get that in there and see if the rest of the world takes heed.
All in favor, tweet at Alpha J98.
Free kick taken quickly by Monterey Bay. Robinson has been involved since coming on. Grant Robinson.
Just too slow. You need to play quicker. The tempo needs to be higher for Monterey Bay. Because as you slow down the game, now the timing is all off. Larson, Galloway, they don't understand when to make that run because they don't know when the ball's going to come in.
Wilson, not really playing like a team who's down 2 goals at the moment, Monterey Bay.
Just need that intensity and that efficiency for Jordan Stewart. If you do get an opportunity to whip the ball into a dangerous area, you need to take it.
Substitution for the Reds in the 75th minute coming on.
Oakland will make a change. Jose Sinisterra will depart. Tyler Gibson will take his spot. This one certainly not like for like, so it might move some pieces around the board for the Roots. More defensive, taking off an attacking piece for a defensive midfielder.
Gibson's going to give you a little bit more foundation, essentially try to see this game out, expecting Monterey Bay to be a little bit more direct, so second balls and winning those second duels become utmost importance for both of these clubs, and that is why Tyler Gibson's making his way onto this field. It's all there. The direction for Tyler Gibson pushing Danny Gomez a line higher, so you do have almost that box midfield like you mentioned, Joe, between Gibson, BR Hunga at the base, and then you have Armenakis and Danny Gomez playing as dual 10s. Good work.
Turn as a substitute, Ivanovic. Quarter of an hour remains here at the Coliseum. Oakland 2, Monterey Bay 0. Glad to have had you with us on ESPN Plus with MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Own goal in the 17th minute. Maury Donor goal in the 58th minute against his former team. Spent the last 3 years with Monterey Bay on the other side of this rivalry. Battle between Hackshaw and Ivanovic. Too much in the end from Ivanovic, who's whistled for it. 25-year-old Australian striker in his first year playing in the United States. Good track record in Australia's A-League. 17 goals spread between his time at Perth, Sydney, and Brisbane. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. And just a reminder, it's CBS Sports Network that takes the spotlight this week. 3 games coming up this week. Wednesday, Charleston, Birmingham. That's at 8 Eastern. Friday, the 4th, Colorado Springs, Lou City. That's at 9 Eastern. And then next Sunday, the 6th at 5 Eastern. It's Charleston and North Carolina. So a big week of USL on TV. Last sub here for Monterey Bay. Wes Funga comes on. Here's Galloway comes off. Let's run this from Malongo. Getting it in front, winning a corner.
Better there from Malongo. That is when he is at his best, when he is quick, when he is decisive, and he is direct, putting his opposition on their heels, winning a really dangerous set piece and a good opportunity for Monterey Bay just to cut this lead in half.
Minutes to go. Monterey Bay needs something. It's not all bad for them if this holds. Still be on 6 points, still alive on the final match day. Punched away by Spiegel, but they could have really helped their case out today, especially with the current 0-0 scoreline between Orange County and Sacramento. If that 0-0 scoreline holds and Monterey Bay would have been able to win this game, Monterey Bay would have controlled destiny here in Group 1 on the final match day. Now it's Oakland looking to tack on. Biara Hanga just goes for it. Something to keep in mind looking at the standings going into that final match day, where Monterey Bay will visit AV Alta. If you look at the goal differential at the moment, Las Vegas even with 9 points, Monterey Bay even with 6 points. But the first tiebreaker ends up as goals scored in this tournament to help foster more attacking-minded play. Vegas, 6 goals. Monterey Bay, 4 goals. So, that being said, as it stands, with Vegas being off on the final match day of Group 1 play, Monterey Bay would need to win, and they need to get at least 2 goals to their name in that victory. Plus, then have to hope that Sacramento doesn't end up beyond 9 points. This was really that key game for Monterey Bay in terms of being able to just control things in the Jägermeister Cup. Now they'll need some help from elsewhere on the final match day, assuming all current results hold. EJ Johnson set to replace Panos Armanakis on the Oakland side.
And a really good showing for Panos Armanakis. Just seemed really comfortable in the role that Benny Feilhaber wants from him. And you just see him signaling between EJ Johnson and Peter Wilson the ability to play on different planes. When one comes to feet, the other one needs to threaten in behind, and vice versa. Panos Armanakis, if you can continue that momentum, now you have a real weapon and a real pocket presence for the Oakland Roots as 2025 continues on.
Monterey Bay's used all 5 subs. Oakland still with 1 more at their disposal. At the risk of being blamed for a potential jinx if something changes in the next 10 minutes, this Oakland team is on the brink of 4 straight games without conceding from the open run of play, if this holds. The only goal they gave up was in Benny Feilhaber's 2nd game at the helm, a brilliant free kick from about 25 yards out by the switchbacks. Yolati feeds it back through. Contact there in the area. Play on, says the referee. My mistake, Oakland also out of sub, so players out there on both sides will be the ones that finish this off. Both sides have exhausted all 5 each. Malongo. By the way, I saw you looking at me there, waiting for that penalty to be called. That would not have been the jinx, because that would not be open run of play. Penalty's a penalty, so don't be looking at me over there, just waiting to pounce on my jinx over there.
Walking a very thin line there, Joe. Good idea there from Grant Robinson. He's been really good since coming on for Monterey Bay. Just his work rate, but the insertion just to get on the ball.
Jordan Stewart looking on. Calm on the surface. I don't imagine he's the happiest camper inside.
Just need a little bit more bite in that final third, showing their teeth, Monterey Bay, because we know that they have it in them. We saw the way that they started 2025, scoring goals for fun, scoring all different types of goals. But Jordan Stewart, with the experience that he had, not only as he had as a coach, but as a player, understanding the ups and the downs of a season. The one thing that you have to continue to stay consistent is just your attitude and your work rate, because there is talent on this Monterey Bay roster. Not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they start to find their groove in the attacking third. Again, you just need to continue to do all the right things.
Back to the Roots' defensive record under Benny Feilhaber for a moment. Do you feel it's just a matter of having a clearer identity now? It felt like under the previous regime, a lot of the mistakes were just momentary mental lapses for a team that was constantly changing formation, constantly changing personnel. Where this team has an identity, it's been a pretty consistent grouping of personnel, and a lot of those mistakes have simply been cut down. Or is there anything you're noticing tactically that's done differently for the Roots under Benny Feilhaber now that's helped this defensive success?
I think there can be 2 things that are true, because once a new manager comes in, players start to realize that I need to perform the best at every single time I walk across that white line, because my spot is not guaranteed. So maybe you see players start to lock in mentally, and that's why we don't see those silly individual mistakes.
Yolati lining it up here, blocked
for the Oakland Roots, but for Benny Feilhaber as well, he's done a really good job at just organizing the troops and really galvanizing this side. And just notice, it's the 84th minute. Up 2-0, all 11 players are behind the ball. All 11 players are willing to close down space at a very high speed. And you and I have the ability to speak with a lot of managers in the USL Championship.
Robinson
good ball.
Feeds it through. Good ball. The header. Saved by Spiegel at the near post. Out for a corner.
Good recognition from Grant Robinson to get himself to the byline. But as Larson makes that near post one, I just want you to watch the back line of the Oakland Roots. They're retreating, so that allows this space to open up for Moby Fair just to crash into. Unable to generate enough power, but in the end, really good save from Spiegel.
Another corner for Monterey Bay. Another punch away from Spiegel.
Just going back to that point and talking about the Oakland Roots and their defensive efforts. You and I have the ability to speak with a lot of managers in USL Championship, in particular when they do play against the Oakland Roots, and we always ask the same question.
Galati plays it through. Nice shot from distance here. Pick that one out. Luke Ivanovic in the 85th minute gives some hope to Monterey Bay.
All about the spatial awareness and the body control from Ivanovic. Does a fantastic job at just getting his hips around it. First touch sets him up for success, so now with the second touch, he can just wrap his right foot around it. Pick that out. No stopping that strike to perfection from Ivanovic, and there is life for Monterey Bay.
Has 2 goals in the regular season. Now tacks another one on here in the Jägermeister Cup. First season playing in the U.S., 25-year-old Australian striker. Sometimes you need a moment of brilliance there for Jordan Stewart, in charge of a side that's really been struggling offensively. Can they go on and capture more out of this? Even a point would feel really massive for Monterey Bay right now in the standings, just to get within 2 of Vegas. Because remember that the scenario I was lying out a moment ago. Vegas on 9 points. Monterey Bay beat AV Alta on the final match day. It'd both be on 9. It'd be a matter of the tiebreaker. If they get a tie out of this game, a win against Alta gets them to 10, and they don't got to worry about the tiebreaker anymore. This is still a big point that could be hanging in the balance here for Monterey Bay. And remember, could be 2 points, because if we're tied at the end of 90 minutes, we go to a shootout for that second point. So there's still a chance here for Monterey Bay. What looked lost could become a tie, that gets them to 7. Could become a shootout, that gets them to 8. Now we're having a completely different conversation.
Big 4+ remaining for Jordan Stewart and Monterey Bay, not only through the quality, but also just to show a little bit of personality and character. Hasn't been your best performance by no stretch of the imagination, but a sign of a good team is how can you grind out results, especially on the road in a really difficult place to play like the Coliseum. Good opportunity here for Jordan Stewart just to see what his team is made of. Just not going to talk about that jinx, huh?
I was waiting for you to bring it up. It lasted 5 minutes after I mentioned it. That one's on me, I guess.
It's a great strike nonetheless from Ivanovic. No stopping that. You can't do anything about it if you are Spiegel.
Could amend that to no goals been scored from inside the box against the Roots under Benny Fehlhaber. Give him a couple minutes. Did a good job there at the very least of breaking up the rhythm. Skaggi went down. I want him to get back out there as quickly as possible. Monterey Bay keeping the pressure up now. Looking to feed it through. Took an awkward deflection. Spiegel calms it down. 2 minutes to go. Does decide to play it long, though. I don't know that Benny Fehlhaber will be happy with that one. That's an opportunity for a goalkeeper to hold that and milk the entire count. Let your team get set up, and possession's right back to Monterey Bay now instead.
Over the last 5 minutes, we've seen Monterey Bay have a little bit more movement ahead of the ball as well. More options. So give credit to Jordan Stewart at pressing the right buttons and bringing the right type of profiles onto the field just to change the complexion of this game.
TJ Johnson hustling through. Robinson flicks it along. Fonguk given away by Gomez. through, flag comes up. That'll negate this moment here for Monterey Bay. Shot was missed in the end anyway from Ivanovic, who played it through.
Clever ball in from Nolati to pick up the ball from that midfield location and outside the right boot to bend it in between Hackshaw and Bravo. Ivanovic about half of a yard, or 2 yards, excuse me. Cut offside. Nolati's done a good job at just being that pocket presence and a really clever player to find that final pass for Monterey Bay.
Vegas have upped their lead to 2-0 over Spokane elsewhere. Still scoreless between Orange County and Sacramento. Wilson. Malongo. Scanning. Malongo cutting in. Blocked by Gagi. Robinson. Floating it toward the back post. 5 minutes of stoppage time tacked on. Free kick on the way for the Roots. And every moment like this now an opportunity to take some extra time off the clock and take some sting out of the game, with Monterey Bay committing everything forward.
Really important for Peter Wilson and EJ Johnson now for the Oakland Roots in terms of their hold-up play. Once the ball does come into them, they need to slow the game down, whether it is drawing fouls, taking that first touch, allowing teammates underneath to support. Good stuff there from EJ Johnson.
Effectively killed off 45 seconds from the time the foul was called to the ball was put back in play. Deflection, keep this with the Roots. Teams will meet again at the end of August. It'll be a Oakland Roots home game, Saturday, August 30th. EJ Johnson picks up a yellow. Keep that in mind. These teams meet again end of August. At the moment, separated by 5 points in the regular season standings. Oakland has a game in hand. Monterey Bay in 6th, Oakland in 11th. I wonder what it'll look like 2 months from now when they meet again. Teams trending in opposite directions, it seems. Oakland potentially on the brink of 2 wins, a loss, and a draw in the 4 matches under Benny Feilhaber. Monterey Bay have really been struggling for results. Flick through for Johnson.
Smart from EJ Johnson. Really good stuff from the sub coming in and just understanding the situation. How many times have we seen a player in that situation, in that opportunity, just whip the ball in and try to get that third? Instead, he takes his first touch, goes towards the corner flag, and now brings down and draws some more clock. That's a maturity and the professionalism that's going to really make Benny Feilhaber proud.
And they'll keep this in the corner now, presumably on this free kick. There they go. Johnson shielding. I think it's a goal kick. There we go. An extra shove at the end of that from Nolati. Minute and a half remaining for Monterey Bay to steal at least a point, maybe more, if they could force this into a shootout. Those of you, again, who still might be newer to Jägermeister Cup, no ties, go to a shootout. Both teams pick up a point, and you play for that bonus second point. Those of you who might also be NHL fans, think of that methodology. expected here as well. And a free kick with a minute to go and a good spot to get a service in for Monterey Bay. It's the time to send Sam Gomez up perhaps as well.
Just silly here from Peter Wilson. No need to lunge in and try to win the ball. Reblar goes down after a sloppy touch. Desired location here for Nalati is right between that 6-yard box and penalty mark. With the traffic oncoming. Big test for Spiegel and his decision-making here.
Remember, for the Roots, last time out in the Jägermeister Cup, late in stoppage time, Aviolta equalized and then went on to win the shootout. Could it be deja vu here? Or can they avoid it and see this one out? And what turned out to be Gavin Glinton's final game. This one whipped in, still loose in front. Can they get it clear? They do. Another chance for Monterey Bay to get it in. Over Malongo, settled now by Fongo, took a deflection. 5 minutes come and gone, headed clear. Johnson takes it upfield. There's the final whistle. The Oakland Roots hold on and take it 2-1 over Monterey Bay.
Professional performance for the Oakland Roots. The majority of the game, they've been the better side. A lot more comfortable on the ball, creating goal-scoring opportunities, and then they showed their strength and their box defending ability to see this game out. Just took a little bit too long for Monterey Bay to get going in the final third. Big win for the Roots.
Game-winning goal ends up belonging to Maury Donor in the 58th minute. That would be enough for the 2-1 victory. We're back in a moment to wrap things up from the Coliseum. For Monterey Bay, it puts them in a little bit more of a difficult position going through Jägermeister Cup. For the Roots, it provides some hope still. They need a lot to go their way elsewhere, but at the very least, they had to make sure they found a way to 7 points. That possibility is still alive. We'll wrap things up in a moment.
Sana, sana. Sana, sana, colita de rana.
Sana, sana, colita de rana. Si no sana soy,
Sanará mañana.
Learn about low to no cost health insurance with Anthem Blue Cross. So you and your family can sana sana.
Dazzling goal for 20,000 to witness a jubilation.
O City by the Bay, let hope renew.
Love shall fill the streets of more than a few.
From every direction, let us converge.
A symphony of love leading a glorious surge.
O City by the Bay, let hope renew. Brilliant minds set us apart. A new course we shall chart.
O San Francisco, be mighty, be proud. In love-filled hearts, may hope ring loud.
Maury Donor really endearing himself to his new supporters here. About a month into his Oakland Roots tenure, what ultimately turned out to be the game-winning goal against his former team in the 2-1 victory for the Oakland Roots. Take a look back at highlights of how it all went down, as the supporters have a lot to celebrate tonight at the Coliseum. It started back in the 16th minute with the own goal that opened things.
It's a fantastic bit of play for the Oakland Roots. El Nasnawi plays sentry. Danny Gomez finds a nice little pocket of space, but top side of your screen, it's an overload. Armanakis essentially, with Maury Donor doing what an outside back needs to do, getting himself in a very aggressive situation. You put it on target, you put the ball into a dangerous area, and you will get rewarded Great goal for the Oakland Roots, and they were on the front foot in the first 45 minutes.
The only thing they would lament is they probably should have had more. They didn't end up finding more in that first half, but they would in the 58.
It's a very similar goal for the Roots. Armanaka essentially, Maury Donor pushes up and creates an overload, but just weird goalkeeping for Gomez. You need to save that, but yet it's a fight, and Maury Donor gets knocked out.
I mean, you can't get knocked out by an inanimate object. What is that?
Good goal here for Monterey Bay. Just notice the spatial awareness. The first touch is everything here for Ivanovic, because he allows his body to get around it with the second touch of that ball and just finds that far post. Great goal, but too little too late for Monterey Bay.
Here's a look at the live standings now in Group 1. Vegas at the top, currently beating Spokane by a couple of goals. Sacramento sitting on 6. Right now, in Orange County, would that mean that there might have been a goal in that Orange County game? It's all changing. Updating live here. Yes, Orange County won that game 1-0 against Sacramento while we were in break, 90+5. So things are changing and happening real time here in Group 1. That's how tight it is going into the final weekend.
Every single point matters. Every single goal matters here at Jägermeister Cup. And again, for the Oakland Roots and Monterey Bay and every single team in Group 1, you need to win points when you are at home. That is a top priority.
Yeah, Roots can no longer mathematically win this group with Vegas getting to 9, but they could still be alive for a wild card. It's the top teams in each group, and the next 2 best wild card teams, they could get to 7. They could come in second in this group. That'll be all for us this evening from the Coliseum. A big win for the Roots. They're second in the Benny Feilhaber era, while the slide continues for Monterey Bay on a night where they had a chance to take a stranglehold of Group 1 in the Jägermeister Cup. They let it slip. Thank you for joining us this evening. Oakland Roots and Bart want to make sure you get home. Visit bart.gov/planner to plan your trip. For the crew that makes this possible, broadcast partner Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa saying so long for now. Roots take it 2-1 over Monterey Bay. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.